I'm Stephen John Drew from the official GonnaGeek.com show, a weekly geek news podcast that is a part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other awesome geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to episode 508 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. This is recorded live on Sunday, November 20th, 2022. We are but a few days away from the American Thanksgiving. You guys in Canada, like Mr. El Presidente, Stephen John Drew, who's in the chat room, you guys had your Thanksgiving already. Now it's our turn. It's our turn. We get to have the turkey and the pumpkins and the football and the excitement. Actually, everyone gets to have the football because the World Cup's about to kick off, I think, which means Twitter's probably going to blow up.
Different kind of football.
Is it really? This is Anthony Bachman joining me, by the way, folks. Split screen. I didn't get a chance to do the intros because I got off on a side tangent. So we'll intro Bachman first.
Hello. I don't know why other countries have Thanksgiving. Isn't it just about us murdering pilgrims? Or wait, pilgrims murdering Native Americans?
It was pilgrims murdering Native Americans eventually.
Yeah. I don't know why we celebrate that.
I just like having turkey.
That's true.
And pie.
I'm just here for turkey and potatoes. We got 3 pies yesterday. We did our shopping yesterday.
And
we
then
got
the
3
next-
pies for Thursday.
Oh my. And then the next day is Black Friday, so maybe I'll buy some video games on the cheap. Look, Gotham Knight I've seen as low as $35, and that's almost low enough I'll pay for it. Not quite. Willie Nelson's shaking his head. He's baffled by me. Go ahead, Willie.
Why would you want to pay anything for a terrible game?
Look, what I'm saying here is I do want to play it at some point. Part of me was holding out hope it would come to Game Pass. I'm not sure that's going to be the case. But if they're going to market... Hold on. If they're going to mark it down to $35 like a month after it's come out, I think we stand to reason that about 6 months from now, this could hit the $20 mark. And for $20, I'm okay with that. I'll drop $20 to give it a try, and if I don't like it, okay. It's like going to a movie and not liking it. You pay $20
hold on a
for
second, Chris. I'm looking for a box because I got a box of shit to sell you for $20.
Oh, I thought you were about to
obviously buy it. You'll buy it for $20.
I thought you were about to go stand on your soapbox. Sorry, we went for different metaphors here.
I don't need to stand on a soapbox for people to see me.
Fair. That being said, I do want to play that game at some point, but I am astounded by the fact that they charged $70 for it to begin with after it was supposed to be a last-gen game that they dropped last-gen support for, and it still doesn't run 60 frames per second on current-gen, and it sucks. Like, harder than the new Saints Row game, which was really bad also.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about another game that also lost its last-gen support, and that's Midnight Suns, which is apparently coming out the 2nd, so that's something. So hopefully, I don't know about the frame rates because it hasn't come out yet, so hopefully it hits all those. I was like, I'm glad I got a PS5 before when they announced that it wasn't even going to be on last gen.
But here's the thing, and I found this shocking. I told you guys this on our chat thread. On Friday, I went out to run some errands. They, at my local GameStop, had 60 PS5s in stock. I was like, maybe the drought is finally ending. So they are seemingly out there. If you follow Wario64 on Twitter or on Mastodon or whatever social platform you choose to use, Wario64 has been tweeting about a lot of PS5 availability and has done like follow-up tweets a couple hours later saying PS5 still available, referencing the previous tweet or toot or mention that had been made. If you make a post on Mastodon until recently, it was called a toot, Willie. That's why I said toot.
As toot's no weirder than tweet. We're just used to the word tweet now, so...
I think they changed it now. But everyone likes it, so it lives on in
the tweet or the toot?
The toot. The tweet still exists. So we are getting to the point, it sounds like, for you listeners out there. If you're trying to find a PS5, it's surprisingly doable. And what I learned when I was at the local GameStop is they can't tell you over the phone how many they have. They can just tell you how many they have. But when you're in the store, they can tell you. So someone had come rushing in. He goes, I wish I could have told you not to rush in. He goes, because we got 60 of these things. And I wasn't going to sell out in the half hour it took you to get here. But
hopefully not.
Hopefully not. So I think the way they described it is I think they had 40 of just the PS5 regular editions that didn't have anything bundled in, a combination
Oh.
of with the disc drive and without, and then they had like 20 of
Okay.
the God of War bundle. So the God of War bundle seems to be fairly prevalent out there.
Did the God of War bundle come with that controller they were announcing, or was that just a separate
I
controller?
think it just came with the game in a fancy box.
Well, I
that
mean,
had God
the
of War.
controller is just like a fancy look controller. It has some blue, has
Yeah.
the bear and the wolf.
I
on it.
don't think it had the fancy controller in it, but I did also notice that both Xbox and PlayStation have their controllers on sale for Black Friday down to like $45. So if you've been looking for a new controller of some kind, or you just didn't like the regular color controller that came with your console, now's your chance
Right
to
here.
go and get one. I gotta say, the purple and the red versions of those PS5 controllers, like Willie's holding up a white one right now, look really good.
I will say my favorite feature still is the adaptive triggers. That's
that's
the best thing that I've ever tried.
So my question is, Will, you've had it for what, a little over a week now?
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Is it getting dingy at all?
The controller or the console?
The
Controller.
controller.
Nope.
Nice. All right. Yeah, that's the one thing I always worry about with just the white controller, because I know that some of those, like my Xbox 360 controllers, after a while they look dirtier than like a dorm room floor. Like those things just absorb dirt into the white whatever coating they had on them. So,
So-
yeah, they look like tan brown after a
You mean
while.
like this white PS4 controller right here? Like it's not dingy at all either.
I will give them
Alright.
credit. I think they've gotten better with what they do for those, because when I got my Xbox Series X, I got the whatever the blue controller is. I can't remember what they called it, but it's blue on the front and white on the back. And like the back of the controller, where I've constantly got my hands gripping the back of it, I haven't noticed any perceivable rather dirty wear or anything like that on it. So
Nothing.
Yeah, and yeah, I was just checking because I mean, not a shot at Xbox. I remember my original PlayStation controllers were like that too. The PS1s, that light gray, those things got dingy as hell real quick. They
We're
seem
also-
What are you
dirty.
doing with your controllers?
bear in mind, we're
filthy
all,
sailors, man.
that's true. We're
Every
also
house out
older
there has a
now.
bunch of filthy drunken sailors.
We're also older now, so we take a bit better care of our stuff than we may have in
That's
some
true.
of those previous generations.
That's true. That's true. I think my current
Stop
PS4
eating
controllers are
Cheetos
pretty,
and
pretty
playing
clean.
games, you fucking weirdos.
I don't eat I don't eat while
Not
I play
you,
video
not
games.
you, the listeners.
In fact, I don't even like to have a cup of water by me because I don't want to knock it over by accident when I get animated doing something in a game. Willie's like,
Animated Chris.
Willie's
Yeah,
got
as
cheer
he
wine.
grabs
That's
his-
not water.
As he grabs his cheer wine, and I'll
Oh,
grab
you
my,
know Cheerwine. Oh, I'm glad you know Cheerwine, Chris. The delicious
grab my nerd juice.
Cheerwine.
Yes, they sell cheer wine in my state in some places. Not all
Oh yeah,
places, but
it's
some
it's
places.
it's outside the Carolinas, but really like you have to. I've heard that it's kind of rare.
Yeah.
It's a good soda, great soda.
Willie,
Not
I'm glad
wine.
that you've
tastes
got-
like wine.
I'm glad that you've gotten your PS5. I'm glad you've got a chance to play some stuff on it. And
Mhm,
hey,
mhm.
congratulations. It seems like you've got it right
Uh,
before the shortage may have let up, which
Yeah.
I'm glad you did. And I'm also glad for everyone else out there, especially as they're Christmas shopping, they're having more opportunities to find PlayStation 5s. I've
And
seen.
speaking of which,
Yes.
when you talk about the thing, I got into more God of War. I thought like it was like ramping down. No, there's a whole other area filled with side quests. I'm like, oh, that was my last 10 hours of gameplay, and I'm still not done with that area. I'm 40 hours into the game.
Nice.
Want to throw that out there.
It's on my list. I'll get to it at some point. I've got a bunch of stuff I need to play first, so I haven't even bothered buying it for my PS4 yet. But I'll get to it eventually.
You should go get a PS5 since they're now in abundance, and
But,
you could have got one.
Willie,
at,
I barely
GameStop.
play my PS4. Why would I buy a PS5?
Before you say anything, shut the fuck up. Spider-Man 2, Wolverine. Continue. I said continue. You could open your mouth now, your little flat jaw.
Thank you.
I mean, I raise good points, don't I?
You do, but they're not out yet, so I'll worry about it when they
Fair
come out
enough.
if I decide to do it.
You make good counterpoints. Thank you. TED Talk over.
Willie's TED Talk is over.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Welcome to Willie Talk.
This is a Will Talk.
Are you a cut or uncut Willie?
It's Will Talk, where he will talk to you.
Ooh,
Oh,
I
he
like
will talk.
There you go.
it. Regardless if
Ah.
you want him to or not.
Oh, he will talk.
Yeah, I know Dogma. I knew you were going with
Sorry.
Dogma because I was going for Dogma. which you can't stream, sadly, because fuck that asshole. But
well, if you have
we'll
access
move
to my
past it.
Plex server, you could stream it off of there.
All right, I got my collector's edition box set that looks like a Bible sitting over here on my shelf. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I had the special collector's DVD edition. I don't know where that is. It has just been lost, and
Isn't
that
that
thing
one
is
that you-
worth a proper penny.
It's on my
Is
bookshelf.
that one you did you
It
lose
had-
that in the divorce?
No, I don't know where it is. It just listen. People borrow stuff, and just some people are assholes about it. There's a
That's
whole.
why I have a dry
If you
erase
want me to
board.
tell you the story right now about it, I can tell you the story that pissed me the fuck off. Chris,
Is it
we got
story
time?
time with Willie?
We got time for story time with Willie. Go ahead, Willie.
so back with when I was still when I first moved in with the ex-wife at the time, she had a roommate. Nice person. She was awesome. She had a boyfriend though who was kind of sketchy, and he did some things that racked on my nerves. He didn't live there with her like I lived with my girlfriend. Like I moved in, but he was there sometimes. And one time when I came home and he was there, he was like, "Hey man, because I had my movie collection over in the corner, because I like a lot of physical movies. Well, especially back in 2010, 2010, yeah, it's about time, 2011, might have been 2011. Either way, and he said something to me that pissed me off. He's like, "Man, it's like I have my own personal Blockbuster over here." I'm like, "Your own personal Blockbuster?" It's like, just fucking let it go, just let it go. This guy's just a piece of shit. Find out that he actually, at one point in time, he actually said this one where he borrowed my season 1 of Flight of the Conchords and then replaced on the shelf with season 2. Now me, I only saw a little bit of season 2 and I didn't really like it. I was like, I much prefer season 1. I never saw season 1 ever again. Now that shit was gone. I still have season 2. That shitty season 2 that he left on my shelf is still there. Where my season 1 is, I don't know. So I'm guessing Dogma, probably something similar happened like that. Couldn't tell you. Fucking piece of shit.
Well, I'm glad we set aside time for this story, Willie.
I'm sorry. I don't even remember his goddamn
great.
name.
So when can I come to
I'll just shut the
Blockbuster?
fuck up. I mean, if you want to see my shelf, it does look like Block, but that's just the 4K and the Blu-rays. I don't even have the DVDs up.
Are you gonna get some Blockbuster signage to put over that shelf?
I mean, I do have the Blockbuster board game
There you go.
that comes in a like those big little bigger cases of the VHS. Like
Yeah.
it comes in a case
I've
like
seen
that.
it.
from
They
those-
had it on
yeah.
sale at Target a couple weeks back.
I
almost
got
bought
this
it.
like a couple years ago. It was fuck. Yeah, I still like the game. It's nothing over the top. It's more like charades and stuff like that. But it's a box filled with a bunch of cards with movie titles and a little timer. That's pretty much all it is. You could probably make it your own way if you really wanted to, or you get the Blockbuster one. I like the case, and that's why I got it, because that case is nice. Because
It is pretty
old
cool.
Blockbuster. Yeah.
Actually, I think I saw it at Wally World too.
I think I got it at Target a long time ago. Whenever I saw it 2-3 years ago, I don't even remember.
Yeah, Target has a surprising amount of board games nowadays, and I guess
Oh yeah,
part of their Black
Yeah.
Friday stuff is they get a bunch of them for like half off. So if you've been looking for board games, go check their website. I don't know if those sales have started yet or not, but they're gonna have a bunch of board games down to like $24 that are normally much more expensive.
although
Nice.
I would say the board game selection is varied in like, what? You got this?
And it varies by location too. Like if you go to two
Oh, yeah.
different Targets, they'll have very different selections. Like one of my Targets has everything that's like superhero related board games and stuff like that. And you're like, okay. And then the other one has like none. And you're like, huh,
I know who's
Yeah.
buying stuff over here.
right?
We got
Nerds.
we got Villainous last year and played that a couple times.
Oh,
Very like unique gameplay mechanic. Every villain has a different way of winning the game, but they all like work and counter each other in a way that's actually really fun. That game's a blast.
I played.
And
And
you
there's-
get to choose which villain you want to play.
There's a bunch of different versions of it now. There's like Marvel Villainous,
Yep.
there's Star Wars Villainous, there's Disney
Yeah.
Villainous, stuff like that. I mean, they're all Disney, everything
I
I,
was about to
quoted,
say.
but this was more like Disney movie villains versus
Yeah.
things
Yeah,
that
it's-
Disney has acquired villains.
Cool game mechanics, yeah. I was really intrigued when it took a little bit when you first read the rules and you're trying to like make sense of it, but once you start playing, it totally makes sense. It's just
Can
one
you
of those
mix
ones.
and match the versions? Like, could I be
Yeah.
Maleficent
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
and someone else
Yeah.
be Loki?
Yeah, supposedly
Okay, I
they're
wasn't
supposed to
sure,
all
yeah.
work together. Yeah,
I mean, because I know each character has their own decks for them and against them, and the other people pull from your own decks. Like
Yeah.
you have your own attack deck, but that's getting into the nitty gritty. I was just curious about that fact, and that's pretty fun.
yeah. It's supposed to be that they can all cross over and play against each other. So yeah, it's a fun game. That's one. Yeah, if anybody's looking for something fun with their family, that's like unique and won't. It's one of those ones where it's never the same game twice. As long as you change the villains you're playing, it's always going to be a different match. So it's really cool how they set it up. So it's a well-made game, and all the little pieces are cool too. Really well made. I played as King John last time. It was fun. Had my little crown.
Oh, I played him.
Robin Hood.
I think who else? I think I also played as Captain Hook. I can't remember.
Yeah,
When
Hook
do you
is
get
fun
to-
because you got to kill Pan on the ship, I think, to win.
When do you get
My
to
buddy-
play as Walt Disney?
It's not quite
Ultimate
cold
Villain
enough
Edition.
outside for you to be frozen over like that.
That's fair.
When they release the Ultimate Villain Edition. But you'll never be able to get it out of copyright, so there's a problem.
Wait, Disney?
Yeah.
Walt
Probably
Disney?
copyrighted himself like that mouse. You know, the one that's supposed to be
Public domain.
public domain and isn't because of Disney lawyers.
To be fair, I'm kind of on with Disney for this because they're a company still using that. Like it's not like a company that went deep, they're no longer exist or anything, and they just have people owning the rights but not doing anything with it. They're still using it, and so that I can kind of see. But like other stuff, like that have been defunct for years and no one's really using it, someone's just holding on to the copyright. Like that, yeah, that should go in public domain. But but stuff that people, companies still using it to this date, I could see reasons, for that.
Just
If that
a
makes sense.
Just a heads up for our PS5 owner. This is supposedly a really good game. It's on sale on PSN. Ghostwire Tokyo for $24 on PSN.
Oh, that one looked good.
Trying to remember.
It's Bethesda.
There's another one I call like Ghost Runner. I think I'm confusing it with Ghostwire Tokyo. I'm trying to remember which one that one is.
Wasn't Ghost Runner the one they put up
Oh
on
wait,
free
I'm
PS4
sorry. Wait,
a
who
while
did you
ago?
say it was?
Bethesda makes it.
Foreshadowing. Fuck Bethesda.
This is why I was partially bringing it up, because
I
we'll
know.
we'll
I had to go
transition to
back
our
to it
news
'cause I
where
didn't
Willie
think
wants
of
to talk about Bethesda a little bit. But before we get to our news, as we record this live on Sunday, we're not going to get into the specifics, but there is a name trending from popular geek culture that has supposedly passed away, but there's no actual confirmation. There's a bunch of internet rumors. So we're not going to bring it up on this show while we're recording unless it can be officially confirmed. I hope it's not true, but where there's smoke and enough smoke here, there's probably fire. I don't know. If it does get confirmed while we're recording the show, we'll talk about it here. If not, we'll talk about it next week.
We will
as
just once again say, rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. We lost Batman.
Of course.
It was a sad week.
That said, though, we did tease that there was going to be some Bethesda talk. So as part of that tease, why don't we transition on in to our news of the week?
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
Welcome to the news of the week. It's that part of the show where we run down with some of the most interesting, geeky, nerdy, or noteworthy news to have popped up here in the world of geek in the past week or so, and share it with you guys who are watching live or listening at a later date. Willie, you've been doing a bunch of research. I think it is only fair that we toss things to you first so that you can get into your thesis that you've been writing on some, should I put it this way, some fuckery that's been going on? Is that the best way of putting it?
Some bullshit fuckery.
Okay, some bullshit fuckery, in the words of Willie.
Before I go into this, most of this is a bunch of he said, she said stuff. There are some receipts with some things said, but a lot of it's like, well, he said this, but this happened, so it's still kind of coming out, and I'm sure there'll be some more stuff coming out later on. This was 2 years in the making, though. So let me start it off. I'm sure you guys know the games Doom and Doom Eternal that came out within the last, 6 years.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I have played Doom Eternal lately because it's on Game Pass, and I gave it a try. Doom games aren't really my thing, but it was all right, I guess.
So there's been some issues with the music for Doom Eternal in particular. And one Marty Stratton of id Software came out 2 years ago to put out a statement on Reddit of all places. In it, he says some have suggested that they've been careless or disrespectful of the game music. Others this is quoted from him too. Others speculated that Mick, that's Mick Gordon, wasn't given the time or creative freedom to deliver something other than something different or better. The fact none of that is true. He goes on and saying, let's see, what has become acceptable as a director? Oh my God, these. He says at E3 last year, this was 2 years ago post, so this would be 2019 E3, we announced the OST, what's the OST O stand for? Someone help me out,
Original score.
Original soundtrack.
That's it.
OST. Although isn't soundtrack one word or is it 2 words? I don't get it. Whatever. I hate acronyms. This is exactly why I hate acronyms. Yeah, he said that the OST would be included with the Doom Eternal Collector's Edition version of the game. At that point in time, they didn't have Mick under contract for the OST, and because of ongoing issues receiving the music we needed for the game, did not want to add the distraction at that time. So they announced, so he even says here, they announced the OST, and Mick was not under contract at the time of them announcing the OST. He actually kind of, I'll get to it later on, but yeah, I'm just noticing that he didn't say this time. Yeah, when they announced the OST, they said Mick Gordon's name. They said his name, and he still wasn't under contract to make it. So that blows my mind. I looking back at some stuff after the fact is ridiculous. After discussions with Mick in January, as Mick Gordon, of course, in January of this year, we reached general agreement. That's of 2020 this year, January. Agreement on terms for Mick to deliver the OST by early March, in time to meet the consumer commitment of including the digital OST with Doom Eternal Collector's Edition at launch. So he goes on to say this, and then pretty much he's addressing that complaints from customers saying the OST, like the music in it was subpar to say the least. And Marty Stratton was going on to just blame Mick Gordon on it, saying their in-house music guy. Shoot, I had his name written down. It's Mossholden. I think it's cool. Yeah, Mr. Mosshold. Sorry, I had something in my throat there. Yeah, who pretty much went in there and is also co-credited with all the songs on the OST with Mick Gordon. Saying that he pretty much came in there and fixed up some of the things what he could, and that's why it was kind of subpar. It took 2 years, 2.5 years for Mick Gordon to come out with his own statement, pretty much discrediting Marty Stratton and what he put up on Reddit 2 years ago. Marty Stratton put on like a 2,000 word thing on Reddit, saying pretty much blaming Mick Gordon for it. Mick Gordon's response is about a 24,000 word whole article just detailing the whole thing with receipts saying he's lying, and here's the reason why it also took me 2.5 years to say this. This statement is issued in response to id Software studio director Marty Stratton's Doom Eternal OST open letter published on Reddit on May 5th, 2020. Marty lied about the circumstances surrounding the Doom Eternal soundtrack and used disinformation and innuendo to blame me entirely for its failure. Words of course, Mick Gordon. Afterwards, he offered me a 6-figure settlement to never speak about it. And as far as I'm concerned, the truth is more important. So, before I get into this, he is saying he was offered a 6-figure contract deal to just take the blame for it, as you were. That's what he's saying. And to go on further, the release was still 2 years away, and they had contacted him. The schedule they handed him demanded he deliver a steady stream of final music, pretty much music that was closely matched to the gameplay. But the problem was the game wasn't really ready to be shown because it's still 2 years out. So he had no real references to make any music. So he had no idea what the level was going to be like, what the game was even going to be looking like. So he was already, under the scrutiny for that. Yeah, most levels were still getting blocked out or didn't exist, and the fantasy combat puzzle design philosophy wasn't yet clear. So he had no idea what kind of pacing he should even be putting into it. Details on boss encounters, cutscenes, main menu design, game flow, story, lore, and character arcs were still a year away at this point. Sticking to the schedule meant producing finished music when nobody could give me any idea what to write. I tried, but Doom Eternal was already heading in a new direction, and my experience on Doom 2016 wasn't much help. Once again, I hate the fact that they just called it Doom in 2016. Just like Halloween and Halloween, just like God of War and God of War, it makes no sense. Company, stop doing it. Stop naming shit the same exact thing from 20 years or longer before. Stop doing that. There was also arguments over when pay began with id Software throughout 2 entire suites written for 2 songs written for QuakeCon 2018 for the premiere of the game. Just threw it out. id Software also denied payment on the notion they changed their mind and no longer liked the music. I argued music appearing at a promotional event constituted usage. Therefore, they owed me compensation in case they caved. In that case, so they used a couple of his songs in promotional material, and then they said, well, we don't want to pay you because we're not going to use it, when they kind of already did use it. So that's fun times. It's just a bunch of... This is mostly from id Software at this point, not quite Bethesda, the parent company, yet. I don't think they got into there. During Bethesda's E3 showcase on June 6, 2019, Marty announced Doom Eternal will release on November 22nd. A special collector's edition was also announced, which included Mick Gordon's original Doom Eternal soundtrack, the OST. The problem was, pre-orders went out on sale immediately, but the standalone OST wasn't in production. He wasn't even offered a contract to produce it yet. And in fact, we hadn't talked about the scope, the time frame, or whether it was even feasible yet. E3 events are planned months in advance, well rehearsed and carefully managed, but no one thought to discuss the OST with the persons whose name is on it in any way whatsoever. He learned about it through the media, not through id Software or Bethesda themselves. So that's all, and we're not even getting to the nitty-gritty of it. That's just the very beginning of what stuff's going on. The collector's edition, a premium product sold for hundreds of dollars, would advertise with the expectation that buyers would receive a copy of Mick Gordon's original Doom Eternal soundtrack. That was in quotes because that's what they said. But without a contract to actually produce the OST, there would be no OST to include. He was under enormous pressure. Attaching his name meant he to be held to a public accountable if it failed. Suddenly, just 6 weeks before the release date, so 6 weeks before November 22nd, 2019, Doom Eternal got delayed into the following year. The new release date, March 20th, 2020, was 5 months away. Delaying the game was the right call at the time. It was not polished or optimized, and Bethesda didn't want a repeat of Fallout 76. That was Mick Gordon's words saying that. Although I'm agreeing with him because Bethesda should not want another Fallout 76 at all either. I don't think that's out of the realm of saying that. Yeah, no one wants another Fallout 76 to repeat. So the time frame which was going through, the in-game score out of the way, he actually did the in-game score. He had Marty had no excuse for holding me back from the OST. So he did the in-game music, but the OST was still no contract for it or anything was still yet done. He raised the issue again. He tried to appeal to him, including that if he began work immediately, he would have enough time to produce the Doom Eternal OST as he had the same amount of time for Doom in 2016. He did not receive a reply. So that's good news when you try and say, hey, what about this? And you get no reply. It wasn't until after Doom Eternal was released that I became aware id Software had used nearly all the music I produced throughout the development, almost 5 hours worth, with only paying me for half of it. So when he was contractually obligated to, they only used like 12 songs of it. Like it was about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours of his music. And that's what they paid him for. They used double that. The unreleased stuff and everything that was on the OST, he wasn't paid for at all for it. So they already kind of fucked him over a little bit, just to say the least. They used rejected tracks, mock-ups, demos, ideas, and sketches, a massive amount of additional music, well beyond the budget allocated in the contract, produced at their request and shared in good faith to use as reference. But id Software included it in all directly in-game marketing and updates without paying for it. Even worse, id Software, to this day, still refuses to pay for it. Despite the fact their contract guarantees payment for any additional minute requested beyond the original budget. Clearly, a cycle of demanding and rejecting music, avoiding approvals, and withholding pay was a strategy to elicit enormous amounts of unpaid work to compensate for their budgeting shortfalls. I'm sure this is all from his ideas of it. That's, of course, a he said, she said type of thing. But, I mean, that fits right. So I'm not going to disagree with it off the top of my head, but it is, what it is. And then the OST was even delayed before he even had a contract. On March 11th, Bethesda publicly announced the album wouldn't be out on March 20th, as promised. No new release date was given because there wasn't one. He still had received a contract on March 11th. And the game was coming out on March 20th, in 9 days. Marty would later claim the agreement from ZeniMax that was sent on March 18th, just 48 hours before the game's release. Yeah, Marty would later claim that the agreement was finalized in January, which he just got in March, but Marty said he got it back in January, implying he was under contract for a much longer period. That is a lie. As proof, this is a screenshot of the actual contract email showing the exact date. He has a picture of the exact date of the contract, which is, let me zoom in, March 18th, 2020, on a Wednesday. So he has receipts to back up exactly what he's trying to say here. Despite the stress arising from the last-minute OST deal, he felt the contract terms were doable. Like, he did get the contract. He said 12 songs by April 16th, 29 days away. He says, that's doable. He agrees to that contract. He was disappointed by the overall situation and limited scope. He couldn't see any obvious warning signs that they would derail so terribly, but he did agree to the terms, and all parties signed the contract within hours. So he readied himself for 4 weeks of solid work. 2 days later, Doom Eternal was released. And he was on to making the OST. In Marty's emails, he stated, contrary to what Bethesda had told him, that the April 16th day was now an absolute necessity. They said the April 16th was a target, but and he would get a bonus if he made it, but it is acceptable if he was, a bit late.
Okay. So there was an expectation there that because of the insane timeline, it may not actually be as doable as originally thought.
All right. To be honest, from what I do know, Mick Gordon, he stopped talking to Marty and id Software because their responses were like, it took him a week to get through it. So he went to Bethesda directly. So, and that's why Blah blah blah. Absolutely necessary. He said, Marty said, in the consumer protection laws in some territories meant anyone who purchased the collector's edition was entitled to a full refund if they didn't receive the OST by April 20th.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that gives them 4 days to fully put all that out. He said. Then he continues on. He says, It dawned on me that I was being threatened. Refunds meant financial losses. Marty was saying, in his view, I was legally liable for any loss id Software suffered due to customers claiming refunds over a late OST. If it wasn't ready in 13 days, they would come after me. That's what Marty was implying. The fact that this critical piece of information had been withheld from me until I'd signed the contract made the whole thing feel like a setup to shift liability caused by selling the OST without a contract in the first place. That going back to that hurts so much. Like, how are you announcing this without a contract in place with it already being worked on? That just blows my mind. Marty then revealed he had previously instructed lead audio designer Chad Mossholder, I couldn't remember. I knew it started with a C. Chad Mossholder, to make an alternative OST by cutting together songs using edited chunks of my in-game score. I responded to Marty expressing my regret at the situation and my belief that working against each other didn't make any sense, especially under the circumstances. The fact that this critical piece of information had been withheld from me until after I'd signed the contract made the whole thing feel like a setup to shift liability caused by selling the OST without a contract in the first place. Blah, blah. Oh, yeah, that was the same thing. Blah. All right, here we go. And then even after the OST came out, he saw in the credits, Chad was credited as co-artist on all the tracks that he pretty much wrote on top of everything.
Wow, that's some bullshit.
I think my favorite thing though is using the music in the promos and then saying they don't want to pay. That's literally like that's the fool that sends the steak back to the kitchen. Like, oh, I didn't like that steak. Where is it? Oh, I ate all but the last bite.
Right.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, you ate that steak. You don't get another steak. You don't get a refund.
He says Chad didn't write, arrange, perform, record, or produce any of this music. He carried out a copy-paste job, cutting apart finished music and resaving it. For this, the proper credit would be considered music editor. Yet in some cases, such as the track Erdak, track 8, and Diag Ranak, track 15, I wish I should have just said the track numbers, he did nothing but change the file name. That's all I did. Change file name.
And he's credited as co-creator.
Worst of all is the inclusion of hours of music and rejected demos I was not, and still have not been, paid to produce.
Yikes. I like Chad's on some Bob Kane shit.
So after like threatening him, saying like you need to take the fall for all this, blah blah. Marty Stratton. I'm trying to keep the names in my head. Yeah, Marty Stratton. He said he wanted a phone call with Mick Gordon. He wanted a phone call. So Mick Gordon finally accepted the phone call. And he was a little hesitant on it because he knew he was just going to be angry and everything. But after a couple of back and forth, he kind of figured he wasn't going to be angry. After the call raged on for almost an hour, we ultimately agreed on the necessity to dispel rumors, calm fans, and demonstrate unity. He told him the situation felt like an excellent opportunity to show how disputes should be resolved. That's how Mick Gordon wanted to do it. Like, let's do it together, do it the right way. He wanted to do a joint statement to clear the air, bashed out a plan to work together with Marty, Chad, and Mick. And he felt it was an excellent first step. And then Marty requested that Mick hold off on any further public comments until we addressed the public together. Together. But instead, in an ugly move, this is his words, days later, Marty took to Reddit in the thing I just mentioned at the very beginning used a company social media account on Reddit to post an extensive series of lies that blame me entirely for the failure of the Doom Eternal OST.
Jesus.
Oh.
But Bethesda
Yeah.
doesn't sound like the best company to do work for.
Well, technically, this is id Software. This
Yeah.
is not so much Bethesda as of yet. Yeah, so this is just mostly Marty Stratton with id Software. Reading the Reddit post made me sick to my stomach. Lie after lie after lie, all pointing to me as the fault while posturing himself as the one who did nothing wrong. What hurt me the most was the feeling that I'd been duped. I openly trusted Marty just days earlier. He told me he wanted to approach the situation professionally, to collaborate, that he had no intention of disparaging me. But we all know. And then there's just one more serious issue. There just wasn't one issue. There was two. Marty published a series of false accusations against me, and id Software shipped Doom Eternal with the double amount of music that than what they paid me for. I immediately had my legal representatives contact id Software with complaints about both matters. Marty forwarded my complaints to ZeniMax, and within days I got a response from the executive legal authority from the upper echelons of the company. ZeniMax assumed that Marty had acted appropriately and denied needing to pay me for any additional music. To combat their stance, I demonstrated Marty's allegations directly contradicted contractual terms, public announcements, and contents of emails and phone calls. Concluded he exploited his position of authority to deliberately spread misinformation, use Reddit as a vehicle, and substantially damage my reputation. Showed that Doom Eternal included almost 5 hours of music, over double what they agreed to pay me for the contract. So that was fun. They went with a back and forth. He struggled with Marty's insistence on avoiding accountability, but realized his company was unlikely to agree to anything unless it was mutually beneficial. Mutually beneficial. With that in mind, I agreed to produce a new, proper Doom Eternal ST. However, I was unwilling to do the work while living under the shadow of ridicule and abuse stemming from Marty's Reddit posts. His actions severely eroded my trust in him, and I requested Marty take down the post as a sign of good faith.
I don't think much good faith is going on here at this point in time on one side of the house.
But lawyers reacting on Marty's behalf expressed worry that even removing the post would reflect poorly on his reputation, which struck me as profoundly hypocritical. He should have thought about that before posting in the first place. Oh my God. In response, I told them my acceptance of their settlement offer was tied to the condition that Marty would remove the post immediately. That's all it was. That's all it could have took, was him to take down his stupid fucking post. But he was had his head too far up his own fucking ass, licking his own tonsils from inside, to say no.
It's quite the picture you painted there.
Oh, I tried.
Gross.
It's a Ouroboros, if you will.
Gross.
An Ouroboros of head up your own ass. I stand by it. But goddamn, the flexibility on that man. Hold for applause. Beat. Their mood suddenly changed, and their mood suddenly changed when I said it was based on if Marty's post would be removed. Yeah, their mood suddenly changed, and a threatening tone edged their letter of response. They withdrew the settlement offer and vowed the Reddit post was just the beginning. Marty was willing to issue legal proceedings to use the court process to damage my reputation further. They threatened legal action. Over times, I had discussed Doom Eternal publicly, forcing me to remove my YouTube streams where he was talking about it, and for using Doom Eternal on my portfolio, meaning I cannot share any of the music I produced for the game, and I had to remove I had to remove any mention of Doom Eternal from my website.
So he can't have it in his portfolio even though he made it and they didn't pay him for it.
Yeah, they used his work product without compensating him, but he can't take any credit for the fact that he's done it, which that credit could then be parlayed into additional gigs because people go, oh, you did that game? That's cool.
Well, and that used his work product before they had him under contract. So
Right.
I would tell them to eat a dick, and I would put it in my portfolio.
So that was in reference to their new settlement, and to further on with their new settlement, saying no, we're not doing this. We're going to actually counteract you on this. And the new settlement offer was a 6-figure sum in return for taking full public responsibility for the failure of the OST. The details were absurd. Marty would keep the Reddit post up indefinitely. He never retracted his false accusations, nor clarifying his statement, and his story would be forever considered the truth. I could never discuss Doom Eternal, the OST, or the Reddit post. If ever asked, I had to say, no comment.
No comment.
I had to pledge I would never badmouth Marty or anyone working under the ZeniMax umbrella, and I could never criticize any product developed by the ZeniMax studio. I had to accept the blame for the situation under contract for life.
Jeez.
In return, I'd be paid a 6-figure sum, and Marty would save face and be free to continue his way without any fear or of interference of any kind from me. Oh, I like his next line. I didn't highlight this, but he says, "Go to hell." As far as I'm concerned, saying the gag order was out of the question.
Well, that's not even a gag order. That's a lifetime loyalty pledge as well.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that better be a lot closer to the 900,000 stick figures than 100,000. You want a lifetime loyalty pledge from someone and a gag order. That's insane.
All right, and to close all that I gave the highlights from this 24,000 word essay.
You
Was
guys
just the number
really
I heard thrown
read
around.
this-
I didn't count it.
He did actual homework. Willie read an article.
I'm very impressed, Willie, with the effort that you've put into recounting this. Well done, sir.
Oh, it's
Well
not done yet.
Done.
Oh, Bethesda is I got to like. I know this is gonna take a lot of time, so I kind of shortened it. There's still a third of shit that he wrote still going on about the bullshit Marty was doing. There's still a third going on, but I'm gonna bypass that and just go straight to Bethesda's counteraction on what Mick Gordon put up. This is Bethesda's response. The recent post by Mick Gordon both mischaracterized and misrepresented the team at id Software. The development of Doom Eternal, Marty Stratton, and Chad Mossholder with a one-sided and unjust account of an irreparable professional relationship. As a side note, this is Willie talking. You mean a one-sided and unjust account of what happened? You mean like what Marty did in the first place 2 years ago? Oh, no, it couldn't be that. No. Okay, back to it. We are aware of all the details and history in this matter and unequivocally support Marty, Chad, and the team at id Software. We would reject the distortion of the truth in selective presentation of incomplete facts in quotes. This is me saying this. We stand ready with full and complete documented evidence to disclose in an appropriate venue as needed. Documented evidence like Mick Gordon had that you already showed? All right.
The receipts, you mean?
Yeah. The statements posted online have incited harassment and threats of violence against Marty, Chad, and this id Software team. Any threats or harassment directed towards members of our team will be met with swift and appropriate action to protect their health and safety.
Okay, so that's fair. People that took it too far
to get to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do continue on with it. We remain incredibly proud of id's previous collaborations with Mick Gordon and ask that fans refrain from reaching conclusions based on his account and, more importantly, from attacking any of the individuals mentioned on either side, including Marty, Chad, or Mick. So at least they did say that, but still. Yeah. People don't do that. Don't offer like death threats and stuff like that. Sorry, Chris. I knew there was going to come back to it.
No, that's fine, and I should not have interrupted. But that
No, you're good.
That's 100% right. Is people who read this and then take it as a license to go and spew vitriol, hate, death threats, and smearing people. No.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I everything except for hate. No, spread your hate. I
Yeah,
can hate
okay.
on them. Hey,
So-
Bethesda, right here for you. Here's some
Yeah,
hate for you.
I guess
I'm not doing anything about it.
I was thinking
I'm
more
doing
along
that.
the lines of like hate speech
I
kind of
know.
things
I
is more
know.
where my mind went on that. But you're correct. If you're dissatisfied with how Bethesda handled the situation, feel free to express that. But don't take it past a point of
Yeah.
safety, I guess. I don't know if that's the right term, but if you're out there threatening someone at Bethesda because you didn't like what they did, and by threatening I mean be like, I'm not going to buy another one of your games, that's fine. But if you're like, I'm going to do such and such to you because you did such and such actions, that's probably over the line, and you might want to take a step back and figure out why you're reacting the way you are.
Man, after watching all this fucking, I had to just light up a cigarette, man. Oh my god. Ugh. I mean, like I said, Marty put up this thing 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like right before Doom Eternal got released, or right during it. I forget the time frame. My brain after doing all that, but it was like right around the time frame of Doom Eternal getting released. Marty put that up there, and it took him 2.5 years because he was also said that he was getting like they were threatening legally and everything, and it took him 2.5 years to finally say fuck you, I'm putting this out. And this is me paraphrasing, of course, putting words in his mouth, saying fuck you, we're doing this anyway. So 2.5 years
That's nuts.
waiting and biding your time to just put up a middle finger, and then Bethesda once saying an unjust account of what happened, a one-sided. Then so you're defending Marty putting up a one-sided unjust account, but then you're condemning another one for doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Fuck
part.
you, Bethesda. I'm glad Microsoft bought you because I never cared about your fucking games in the first goddamn place. You suck a goddamn dick.
Tell us how you really feel.
Right?
Fuck Fallout. I never cared about those games. They were alright at best. They were fun, but that was about it. Keep your fucking Elder Scrolls. That is them, right? That is
They
Bethesda,
do.
right?
They
Yeah,
did do the Elder
Bethesda.
Scrolls.
Yeah. So that was my news. Any questions that I can answer or anything?
I wonder
So
what.
what other-
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what other soundtracks has this guy worked on? Do we know his work? 'Cause we know none of us played that Doom game, so
I can look this up right quick.
just makes you wonder. Like, has he gotten work since this whole debacle? Is he on another game right now?
Let's see. He's worked on Doom Eternal, The Last Airbender, the game or the movie? Oh, for the game. For the game based on the movie. Wait, there was a video game based on the movie? Oh,
That
God.
doesn't surprise me.
El
Based on
Tigre, The Adventures of Manny Rivera, which I think is based on a kid show, it looks like. A game called Real Racing, a game called Routine, which I think I've heard of. Yeah, there's probably more stuff. Oh, yeah, Atomic Heart, Prey, okay. Wolfenstein: The New Order.
Wait,
Which
Prey,
isn't
like
also
the new
Bethesda?
Hulu movie?
No, Prey the game.
No, there's two
Oh, the
different
game.
Prey games
Okay.
though that Bethesda
Yeah,
did.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
two of them. One, I think they have nothing to do story-wise with each other, do they? Even though they use the same name. Like one was
No,
like a
they
Native
don't.
American with aliens, right?
Yeah, they don't, from what I can recall.
And the second was not. Yeah, Atomic Heart, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. Looks like the newer Prey he worked on. Doom, Wolfenstein: The New Order, Killer Instinct he also worked on. The new Xbox only one. Lawbreakers, Mirror's Edge, apparently for the trailer of it. Need for Speed: The Run. Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. Apparently, if you look it up, I'm just that's a lot. Destroy All Humans 2, nice.
That's a fun game.
Army of Two. At least he worked for the trailer song for it. Okay, that's cool. So that's what he's done.
So he's fairly established doing video game score and music. It's not like he's some new guy to it that was going to
Yeah.
easily be taken advantage of. That's
Oh,
why
yeah,
he
he-
fought back.
I mean, reading from the account earlier when he said when he actually talked to Bethesda and they actually gave him a contract for like a month of time, like 29 days to do 12 songs. He said, "Yeah, that's doable." That means you're a fucking professional. If you
Right.
it takes fucking musicians like music acts, actual bands. It takes them a year to do a 12-song CD, album.
Wow, I can't remember. I just heard the story. Someone was talking about how, I guess, like Tim Burton kept bothering Prince for the soundtrack for Batman. Like, hey, we need that done. Hey, we need that done. Hey, we need that done. And apparently Prince just kept saying, "Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it." And apparently, like when it was due on a Monday, he went into his studio on Friday and wrote the entire album and performed it over the weekend. He
I
basically
wholeheartedly believe that.
started work on Friday, and on Monday morning there was an email with like the attached 12-song soundtrack. And Prince had just done it all himself over a weekend.
Yeah.
For how weird I hear Prince is, that sounds entirely well within it.
But also, how
Game
amazing
blouses.
the fact that like song creators can do something like that and produce at that high level in such an amazingly short amount of time.
Well, Prince, for the stories I heard, he was one of the he was
genius.
He was super gifted musically.
a savant. Is
Yeah.
what I was trying to. The word I was trying to. Yeah.
full blown musical savant for sure.
Like the amount of instruments he knows how to play, it like blows my mind. Me personally, I don't really care for the music of Prince. Like, it's not my thing. I wanted to like it, but I just don't like it. It's just whatever. But I respect the fuck out of him knowing how to play all those instruments and shit. I respect the hell out of him. Just because it's not my flavor of music doesn't mean I don't respect him.
That's fair.
Yeah, Prince is awesome.
Just not my taste in music. That's all. But I respect his fucking talent. Any more questions for Bethesda, id Software, and Mick Gordon?
Not off the top of my head. I admit I was not fully versed in what all had been going on. I'd skimmed a little bit on Reddit, but I wasn't super knowledgeable, so thank you for filling that gap for me, Willie.
Oh, yeah, man, that was just... Yeah, this all just blew up this week, and I knew this was going to be big news. Like, Jesus Christ. That started popping up everywhere. 2.5 years in the making
That's
of just
crazy.
biding your time. Just making sure you got all your receipts. Getting them all out there.
So before we move on to the next news story, there is official confirmation of what I'd kind of hinted that was floating around the internet, or at least it's coming from more reputable sites. But TVLine.com is reporting Jason David Frank, the actor best known for portraying the Green and White Ranger on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, has died. He was 49 years old. It's been corroborated by his co-star Walter E. Jones, who confirmed on Instagram saying, "Can't believe it, R.I.P. Jason David Frank." And finally, the actor's rep, Justine Hunt, confirmed in a statement to TV Line saying, "Please respect the privacy of his family and friends during this horrible time as we come to terms with the loss of such a wonderful human being. He loved his family, friends, and fans very much. He will be truly missed." So
it's like,
Jason David Frank passed away.
Yeah. Other sources too. Yeah, TMZ's reporting it. So yeah, it sadly looks like it's real, which is just so awful.
I don't know if these rumors are true or not, but let's just put it this way. If you know anyone that's struggling, be supportive of them, help them. If you're struggling with thoughts and feelings, there's people out there that'll help. Reach out to your friends, to your family, reach out to the suicide hotline, things like that. Find help if you need it, please.
Yeah, talk to someone, talk to anybody. Somebody out there cares. I love the fact that like Eddie Kingston and them did the suicide prevention notice for AEW, like because like they had what was it? It was Eddie Kingston, it was Will Hobbs, and then Ref Aubrey. Because they're like, oh, get the toughest guy, like the toughest guys in our business, and have them talk about like, hey, shit sucks sometimes. People get depressed. Somebody fucking cares. Talk to somebody. I love the fact that they had like Eddie Kingston and Will Hobbs do that. So the guys you wouldn't expect to be there to do that for them as a company to put out that promotion, that thought. And so yeah, it's someone cares. Believe me. Like it's talk to somebody. I don't have it on now, but yeah, my hands have changed size since UPS. I wear a black ring around my trigger finger from 22 Kill, because on average, 22 veterans kill themselves every day in America. So it's just for, recognition of that fact that you actually wear it on your trigger finger. And yeah, it's freaking awful. Like people out there, using a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Right. And we don't know what happened, nor do we deserve to know what happened if the family doesn't want to disclose it. There were rumors that floated around the internet. I have no idea if they're true or not. But if they are, that's why we mentioned what we mentioned there. If you're struggling, reach out, get some help, please. There are people out there that care. So, like I mentioned, the news got confirmed. I felt that we should at least talk about it and mention it because... child of the 90s here, grew up with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, so Jason David Frank as Tommy the Green Ranger was a lot of my childhood.
I still remember watching those episodes live when he showed up for the first time and stomped the crap out of the whole Ranger team. He beat up the whole team. Like,
in the Japanese footage, he beat up the whole team.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, in the Japanese footage, he showed him beat up the whole team. Yeah. Oh, Haim Saban was a genius. And the fact that, like, he sold his company at, like, the peak of its popularity for, like, $umpteen billion and then bought it back.
And then sold it again.
Pocket change. Like,
I think he sold it to Hasbro. I think Hasbro owns the Power Rangers.
Do they have it now? And I'll bet you he sold it again and made a lot more money. The dude's just a smart businessman.
Yeah. So
let's shoot half a TV show and charge full price ads.
Wanted to mention that sad news so people knew about it. Let's transition into things that are a bit happier. My news of the week. We do know that the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special is coming up soon. We'd seen trailers for it. We know James Gunn's been doing promotion for it. James Gunn kind of had to shoot down some rumors that people were getting mad about him promoting Marvel stuff when he runs DC. He's like, I still have a deal to talk about these things I've done, guys. He's like, I can like both. I could support both. But why I mentioned that is there is a Christmas special that he came up with based off of everything that's going on with Guardians of the Galaxy. Hey, guess what? This isn't exactly unheard of. Ryan Reynolds has been doing the press tour, talking a bit about what's going to be coming up with Deadpool 3. And he mentioned that Deadpool 2 is going to be re-released in 2018. They did Once Upon a Deadpool then, and he was doing press junkets, and then some of the stuff was unearthed. And he said, as part of that tour, I would love to see a song and dance number in a Deadpool movie. The actor said when talking about his new holiday movie, Spirited, he's doing. 4 years ago, Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, and I wrote a Christmas movie starring Deadpool, but it got lost in the shuffle of Disney acquiring Fox and it never got made. Maybe one day we'll get to make that movie. It's not a musical, but it's a full Deadpool Christmas movie. So one day. Why I brought up the Guardians special is, hey, everyone kind of went, the hell? We're doing a holiday special for Guardians of the Galaxy? Bear in mind, holiday specials for all sorts of stuff used to be a big deal, especially like the 70s and 80s. You'd have the Star Wars holiday specials, various other holiday specials.
And they've done 2 of the Star Wars Lego ones, I think, since acquiring. Yeah, like on Disney Plus, there's multiple Star Wars holiday specials, which have been really cute. Like, they're super cute. Unlike the aforementioned not to ever be shown again holiday special.
Right. So he mentioned that, and it kind of got me cautiously optimistic that if there's enough buzz, and there have been positive reviews about the Guardians Christmas special, but if enough people view it and consume it, it might get Disney going, hey, maybe we should do a Deadpool one when we film the Deadpool movie so that we can put it on Disney Plus or something like that. Maybe not a full-blown movie like Ryan Reynolds was talking about, but you could probably do a short special or something like that, and that could be fun. And if you think about it, a Deadpool Christmas special would likely be hilarious.
Well, and also think about who his buddy is that he got to do Deadpool 3, which we're all freaking out about because it's the Hugh Jackman, who is a song and dance man. He literally came up from Australia having done soap operas and song and dance stage play. Like, he did The Greatest Showman. Like, Hugh Jackman loves singing and dancing. Can you imagine Wolverine singing and dancing? I'm trying to think, who do we got? Mr. Impossible? Who's the Marvel version of Missile Picklick? That would like alter reality. Yeah. Like they did like a knockoff version of it. It was like a Mr. Impossible alien character. But they need like the Beyonder to like grab Wolverine and Deadpool and send them somewhere, and they have to like do a song and dance to win the galaxy or something. Like, that would be hilarious.
Willie,
you're on mute.
What created Secret War?
That was the Beyonder.
Secret Wars was the Beyonder, yeah.
Oh, the Beyonder, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a dude in a 1970s leather one-piece suit that had the ability to pull heroes and villains to a planet that he wanted to have fight for his amusement.
Look, if you could pull it and make it happen, could you imagine if you could do some kind of like Christmas special that had musical numbers in it that somehow had Hugh Jackman in it? And who knows at this point in time whether Patrick Stewart would come back or not. We know Patrick Stewart has enjoyed being on stage. We've seen some of his musical stuff. He did one of the best deleted scenes / behind the scenes thing was him singing Happy Birthday to Gene Roddenberry on the bridge of the Enterprise, doing a musical number with a hat and cane.
Oh, God. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that would be fun. Could you imagine if you could get just like all sorts of... do the MCU holiday special.
And then what I've been into, bringing some of the other mutants. James Marsden.
Yeah.
The prince from Enchanted and Disenchanted. He does song and dance numbers too. He was Cyclops, Willie, in the X-Men films.
And we know Tom Holland can
No,
dance.
I don't know the other things you mentioned. Enchanted and Disenchanted. I don't know what those are.
the Disney films.
They're Disney
Where the-
films.
Yeah, sure.
Cartoon-
Disney films. Yeah.
Cartoon princess gets kicked into the real world 15 years ago. The sequel came out this
Listen,
weekend.
I know James Marsden as Sonic's friend.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
who I
Oh,
know
that
him
works.
as.
But in all seriousness, though, could you imagine if we could get some kind of, if the Guardians Holiday Special
Yeah.
gets the rave reviews, it looks like early reviews are going to indicate, if they did some kind of like MCU Holiday Special and were able to bring some folks together that
Well-
you would never expect.
Well,
and
from
just
what
have
you
fun with.
described, it's a mutant miracle. Professor X can walk again. He's singing and dancing
Yeah,
with the cane
why
and
not?
everything.
With the Beyonder, anything's possible. Yeah.
Well, let's
Plus, I mean,
also
yeah.
not delude ourselves. In the comics, Professor Xavier's regained the ability to walk like 67 times.
Oh yeah, he's been walking around for the past 5 years I was gonna say Genosha.
He's
that's
still
the
alive. I
wrong
thought he
island.
died.
Yeah, they
wanna
brought
know
him
the
back. He
answer.
dies a
Gotta do
lot.
I don't want to know the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got a new younger body and he walks around wearing Cerebro all the time, so you can never see his face.
I just said
So
I
it's-
didn't want to know.
Yeah, I'm still gonna tell you anyways.
Well, you're gonna.
Is that
know.
what the Cerebro card in Snap is? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's the helmet he now currently wears.
I thought I
Yeah.
saw something. Why does he have to wear the helmet?
No, he
No,
just
he
constantly
chooses to.
wears it because it makes him more powerful. And because he's constantly updating the mental
Registry?
copies of every mutant.
so that nobody can actually
wait,
die?
I get it right. Mutant Registry. I did get it
Yeah,
right.
he basically is the mutant registry now. Yeah, pretty much. Because all the mutants are immortal now. They can all be resurrected.
This is why I don't read fucking comics
Krakoa's
anymore.
awesome. I mean, it's some weird shit, but Jonathan Hickman created some crazy stuff when he gave the mutants Mars as their own planet and then gave them their own island.
It's true.
So they get a planet and an island on Earth?
Yeah. Yeah,
This is
they took over.
bullshit.
Yeah, they
What
built
do I
them-
get?
they started living on a mutant island, so they are on mutant sovereign territory, and then they retrofit is not the right word. What did they do to Mars?
Terraformed.
They terraformed the planet Mars and made it habitable,
That's a great
and it's
board
now a
game,
mutant
Terraforming Mars.
planet. Yep. And
Great
the
board.
way that Hickman wrote it, it actually kind of made sense. Like they literally had Magneto go out and get iron ore from the asteroid belt to alter the composition of the core of the planet to then add an atmosphere with Iceman. Like it was really cool what he thought of for actually terraforming a planet with mutant powers. Like, yeah, it's fantasy, it's comic books, but like when you read it, it makes sense. It's like, okay, this actually sounds like it could work. Like it's just science fiction-y enough that like you're like, this is kind of cool.
You remember that time Iceman reconstituted himself through a puddle of piss?
No.
I do not, but why
I
not?
do.
He's had some up and down days.
I made a piss.
I mean, he is an Omega level mutant, so he's arguably one of the most powerful ones out there.
You know,
Piss Man. Pissicle.
Well, he makes me really mad in Marvel Snap that card because it throws off my deck synergy.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
it does.
I just want to see what card it affects. Like, I hope it makes a 6 power card to a 7 power.
It can't.
I know.
No,
Yeah.
6 is the max, but yeah, it does. It constantly messes with my deck. People hit me with the Iceman all the time. I hate it.
But that was
I
my
hate it.
news, is
like
that
Scorpion.
Ryan Reynolds and the team behind Deadpool 2 wrote the script for a Deadpool Christmas movie. Maybe we get something out of it one day. He's very good about teasing things out there in the Deadpool
That's
world and then making them happen at some point in time. So
I've been told I'm a good teaser, too.
so
He's good about
cautious
teasing. He's good about teasing things he's already working on.
Yeah.
That's what he's good at.
so
I'm working on
cautious
things.
optimism on maybe we'll see something like that going forward. But that is my news. Let's toss things over. Mr. Bachman, what do you got to finish up the news?
Simple as a pimple. We got the box office for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. It did not quite reach the level of its predecessor, which is not shocking to anybody, but it actually did do very, very well. So going into its second weekend, it's going to keep the crown against the two new studio releases, The Menu and She Said. From a Variety article, let's see, Marvel's sequel brought an additional 17.9 million on its second Friday, down 78% from its opening day figure. Projections for the sophomore outing of Wakanda Forever land in the 65 to 70 million range, which would mark a substantial drop, but standard for a superhero movie. Second weekend drop of over 60%, with 181 million domestic debut, Wakanda Forever landed the second biggest opening of the year behind Marvel's own Doctor Strange. So it did really well for the opening weekend and then is holding the box office for the second weekend. Let's see, it's still on track to be slightly behind Doctor Strange. And then, let's see, it will now be a sizable haul at the box office over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, hoping to place itself on the pathway to becoming the year's second biggest domestic release behind Top Gun. So it's got a chance of basically catching every movie this year except for Top Gun, because, well, nothing's going to catch Top Gun Maverick
That movie
this year.
went crazy.
That was the worldwide winner. See,
Why?
that just talks about the movie.
Because it was one of the rare movies that came out that didn't have a quick digital release, and they kind of touted the fact it wasn't, and there was a lot of buzz behind it because nostalgia and things like that, and a crap load of people went and saw it.
I never really cared about Top Gun. I never seen the original, didn't see the sequel. I don't give a shit about them. I don't give a shit about planes in the air.
The
You're
best
not a
is
child of the 80s.
the Quentin Tarantino rant about how homoerotic the volleyball scene is. That's pretty entertaining.
But
If
that
you
is
haven't seen
true,
it.
though, right?
I mean, feels like it, but
Bunch of
Yeah.
shirtless,
I mean,
muscle packed guys playing
there
with
was
balls?
some weird
really
What's
stuff.
not homoerotic about that?
There was some
the king
weird
of the foot fetish is going to talk bad about fetishes in
Oh,
another
yeah.
movie.
There was some weird stuff with Top
okay.
Gun sequel though, where like they brought everyone back except Kelly McGinnis because she'd aged more than the rest, and then they replaced her with Jennifer Connelly.
Wait. Hold on a second. A year lasts longer for her than other people? What?
It does
she
in
aged
Hollywood.
She
more
was
than others?
noticeably more
I know,
aged
I
than
know
the
it
rest.
does
Is
in
what I
Hollywood.
meant.
I know. You know what I'm saying. They're like, wait.
I mean,
Like,
and-
she spent more years since the same.
And that's basically what she said is the reason they didn't come and get me is because I don't look like what I used to, or something to that effect, from what I recall. But like, yeah, like, at least they brought Val Kilmer back, and he got to be there as
back?
Iceman.
Yeah, even with his trouble
What
with
is
his
she?
throat.
What's her name?
Kelly McGinnis.
I like how they wrote it into the story. Yeah, because Kelly McGinnis wasn't there, but they had Jennifer Connelly instead.
I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list at some point. I want to see it, but I'm not paying full price for it because I don't care that much. I did buy Top Gun recently though on 4K for $6 for the disc, which I thought was worth it.
It is a solid movie, but a lot of it is built on nostalgia. It is a
Mhm.
big nostalgia fest. But I mean, it's a beautiful film. The script's not bad. Like, it's a Top Gun movie. It's not, we're not shooting for the Oscars here. They're not going to win, best screenplay. But, it was entertaining. It was really fun. I was not mad that I saw it on a big screen. Like the action sequences, the way they were filmed, the sound effects, the sound editing, like the way all of that was done. It was worth seeing on the big screen. But yeah, so Wakanda Forever is going to do pretty well. It's not going to quite beat its predecessor, but it's also, with what they were facing, with what the changes that they had to be made, and then coming off of what was arguably at the time post, Captain America Civil War, leading into Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman was possibly the biggest star in the world at that moment. And so when Black Panther came out, like, that was one of the most anticipated films of all time. And then this is a follow-up film where your lead star dies in between. So Ryan Coogler and crew had a huge hurdle to get over, to where you have to honor your fallen friend while at the same time not seeming like you're trying to cash in on his death. That is a very, very tightrope to walk. And they produced a good movie, which I think for what they had to go against, I think Black Panther Wakanda Forever being a good movie is really the best we could hope for. I don't think there was any way, no matter what they did, they couldn't have beat the original Black Panther. But the fact that it's doing almost as well, I mean, says a lot for how well made this movie is, and it is entertaining. It may not be what everybody likes, because I know Willie wants to talk about it and what he's been into, but there's some really good stuff in this movie. There's some other very strange changes from comic to MCU conversions, but they had a huge hurdle to get over, and I think they got over it well and about as classy of a way as you can while honoring their fallen friend, which that's a hard thing to do.
I'm just enjoying the internet outrage over the fact that they CGI'd out Namor's bulge.
I don't really know what to say to that.
That was making me laugh when I saw that yesterday because they were showing stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah,
and
I'm
then
actually
CG
appreciative they did that because I didn't even notice a bulge. So good job.
That's because they got rid of it. It's just
Good.
it's just the dumb internet things you randomly
Wait.
see when you're browsing, and I was like,
So just
"That's a thing."
That that dude in just his little tiny shorts, like they had to CGI out his bulge just because he's packing.
Yeah, they
did a
CGI'd
great
out it.
job.
Yeah.
Because I never noticed it.
Now,
Yeah, I
that
mean, I
being
never
said,
And in that
during the movie,
outfit, I
so-
should have noticed it. I'm glad I
That's true.
didn't. No offense.
that being said, the picture was kind of in the best angle in order to notice that because it was a side shot. So
And he's like, "Look, bitch, I'm the king."
I mean, save yourself some fucking money and just get some like tightening pants, something that tucks it in or something.
they might
Three
have.
pairs
Who
of
knows?
Spanx. Yeah.
I mean, Jesus.
Well, they said they
Christ.
have to reshoot those Allstate commercials all the time because what's his name, the president from 24, like depending on how he's walking, sometimes they have to reshoot those commercials because he's moving them khakis around in a way that they can't put on family television.
Listen. As a person with, I guess, bigger than average balls, I understand that they're hard to hide sometimes, but it's doable in a practical sense, not in a CGI sense.
Maybe not when you're jumping around in short shorts. I mean, let's be honest, Namor's outfit's pretty skimpy.
Right?
Oh no, it's still doable. I've seen
Yeah.
Buffalo Bill. I know you could do it.
There's no way you're gonna tuck and then do an action sequence. You can't hold your legs together while you're jumping around in the sky.
Okay, you tuck it in. You have something like compression shorts that compress it. Like you tuck it in, and the compression keeps it where you put it. I could do it. I'm doing it right now.
Okay, this has gone the way.
You want to see? You want to
No.
see?
Don't you dare!
You're not gonna be able to see. Is my point.
So I'm glad it did all right at the box office. Going back to the movie itself, I won't get to see it until probably this upcoming weekend, just
Good.
because life got in the way. We'll probably
It's not
go
worth
maybe
it.
on Friday or something while everyone's out Black Friday shopping.
Not worth it.
We'll go to the movie theater.
Don't do it.
Why not?
I think in third weekend, I think it's going to get a sizable bump with it being Thanksgiving. We got people that have Thursday and Friday off. Some people have a full 4-day weekend. So the people that have waited to see it, I have a feeling it's going to have a really good third weekend. So yeah, it's probably not going to catch Black Panther, but it's going to do extremely well. So it'll be cool to see, where they go forward with the characters after this movie now that we've made some changes. We're going into, it's phase 5 now, right? This is the end of phase 4.
Correct.
So and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. And yeah, no spoilers. I ain't going to say nothing else about the film, but yeah,
Please don't
I enjoyed
spoil.
it. No, I enjoyed it, and Angela Bassett kicked ass. So, if anything, I'll tell you, it's worth seeing this movie just to watch Angela Bassett as the Queen of Wakanda. She is badass. It's maybe my favorite performance from her since What's Love Got to Do with It.
I mean, I think there's one spoiler that's all right to say because it has nothing to do with the plot. It's just, oh, they were married to that person? Oh, okay. Does that help you, Bachman?
Oh, yeah. That
Yeah,
part
it's
was
like-
kind of...
What's the
That
point
part
of
was-
that? Okay, sure, they were married. Whatever.
Yeah, it was funny. It was kind of interesting. It's like, okay, well, that's strange. All right.
Yeah, sure,
I just,
whatever.
Back building the universe. But yeah, Wakanda Forever did fairly well. It's still holding strong in the theaters. It's going to keep making money, and yeah, it'll probably have a solid third weekend. And it's not going to put up original Black Panther money, but it's going to do well, which is good because this is, when it comes down to it, this is a whole lot of people getting together and honoring their friend that died. And so I'm glad that people are seeing it. It's worth seeing in the theater. I think it's worth seeing on the big screen because it's really well made.
Oh, just wait till what I'm into. You just wait.
Oh, Willie teased it. It's like we're going to shift right into that next. As
Alrighty.
we
I
wrap
mean
up the
that.
show, we have a little segment called What I'm Into. It's how we share with you guys the geeky and nerdy things we've been doing because you may want to go check it out yourself. And Willie, I think we're going to let you go first because you were the one that was teasing what you were getting into with a maniacal laugh. So kick things off for us.
right. So I saw 2 movies, one on Friday and one yesterday. I saw 2 movies back to back. That's right. I saw Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Black Adam yesterday.
I'm very glad you didn't let that sit right after you said it because that could have gone poorly.
Me too.
Look, listen, all right, the black's in both the titles, so I thought it was fun. Black to black. It's fun, fun with words. I'm not there's no malicious intent or anything. Get over yourselves, people. Not you guys, just people in general. Get over your fucking ideals.
What do you mean, you people?
Oh, look what you did, Willie.
You better watch it, Bachman, because you're gonna get shit, what the fuck? Al Pacino on your ass about what do you mean, you people?
Mm-hmm.
Al Pacino. or Al Pacino. It was weird. As Alpa was his first.
Oh, side note, series finale for Walking Dead tonight for Noon Watches. Just saw that pop up.
You interrupted by what I'm
that
getting
movie still
into
going?
for a terrible show for The Walking Dead.
Used to be a huge thing to a lot of
No
people.
one watched that show. It's shitty. Fuck you for liking it.
He says to someone who hosted a podcast about it for 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Fuck you for liking it.
But there's also a reason you're no longer hosting a podcast about that show.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Because it was shit. Listen, I thought the first season was good. The second season, I forced myself through it, and then on into halfway through the third season, so I was like, "Why am I forcing myself to watch this shit?"
That's why I stopped
Anyway.
watching it.
Anyway,
They
yeah.
had they had some good stuff.
Let me start off with Black Panther. Black Panther is not a good movie. It's a meh movie at best to me. There's some things I like in the very beginning when the whole army thing, that was
No
cool.
spoilers. Careful.
I'm saying basic, stuff. The army people, that was cool. I like that.
Yeah, it was a good sequence.
When they distitle someone, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? That makes zero sense. Plot holes all over the place. Some things make zero sense in it, and it's just annoying as hell that it goes nowhere for nothing. Black Adam, I'm not gonna lie, it's on the same page. It's like Black Adam tries to be kiddie and adult, like with the murdering. People get viciously murdered, but then we're also throwing in little kid jokes.
What
They
was it
should've
rated?
took
Was it PG?
I don't know.
I'll look
I'm
while
pretty
you're
sure
talking
probably
about it.
PG-13. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like sort of CGI people. It should have been rated R for with the violence. in it.
PG-13 is what it says on
Really?
the Google machine.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I really care about that rating. It's just like that's surprising. Like, wow, I thought that would have been rated R with what you see in it. Yeah, they should have got rid of the kid aspect in Black Adam because that was a bunch of bullshit that shouldn't even been there. It was it was all right at best and annoying at the worst of times. It was just shouldn't have been a thing. And the jokes that were going between the kid and Black Adam were like, "Fuck, what are we doing here? Just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up." Like, can we have some good movie?
So you're
'Cause there's
saying
some good stuff.
You're
but-
saying you did not enjoy your movie choices.
Oh no, I mean choices. I'm so happy I saw both of them, but they're both not good movies.
That's fair.
But they're not bad.
I mean, there are no
movies.
Nick
They're
Cage
just-
movies.
There are. Listen, I saw that trailer for that movie you said you put out there. The Old Way, was it? The Nick Cage? Is that what
Don't
it's
look
called?
at
The
me.
Old
I
Way?
didn't put it out
No,
there.
I'm looking at him. What do you mean I'm not looking down there? I'm looking over there. The fuck you talking about? So, Bachman, what was the name of that movie? That Nick Cage movie?
He's so
I don't
mad.
know.
He's
I just
so
put up the
mad.
photo of it.
Yeah, I
Because
know.
like,
It had a title in it. And when it called like The Old Way or something. I saw the trailer for it last night. That movie looks shitty as fuck. Sorry, Nick Cage, but it looks terrible.
The Old Way. Yep.
Yeah, The Old Way. It did not. The trailer was like, oh. I mean, the whole time I'm looking at it, it's like, that's just. I'm sorry, Nick Cage. I can't see. And I can't see you as a gunslinger in the Old West with you how you look today. I just can't. It just doesn't make sense, and I can't get through it. I'm all here for you with zany shit, but like down to earth, like I'm a gunslinger, cowboy with guns. Like I can't see that, man. Go back to murdering, Willie's Wonderland. I fucking love the shit out of that. That's awesome. But yeah, I just can't see it. What else I've been getting into? Oh yeah, I shared with you guys. My internet was down for a couple of days, and the little map I got of the outage area
That was funny.
was pretty much my street that you bends around, and then another street that's like in between it, and it's just that little area. In fact, I'm not even sure if anyone else has ATGN on the street.
So what did someone do? Just hit the cable underground or something?
Ran over the.
I never got any
box.
answers. It just says fiber cable issues. That's all it says.
I bet the
Issue.
cable got cut somewhere by accident. That's probably what happened.
No idea. It was fucking weird, but it was out for days.
Well, Willie, I might have fiber internet soon, so I might be joining you. I'm very excited.
Oh yeah, it's pretty nice. Like
They're signing an agreement, hopefully with my HOA soon, and if they do, they'll have it here in January or February.
I just hope your
Damn.
consoles are hardwired in with a very long Ethernet cord because fuck wireless
Well, it depends on what kind of Wi-Fi you have, but
for online gaming.
yes.
Well, no, because the bottleneck is your console in particular.
because it's all about their Wi-Fi card that's in the system. It's
And
like,
I think
that's
the
where the
PS5 has a Wi-Fi 6 card in it, and sadly the
it's actually
Xbox
not
doesn't.
good.
No, does it
It's
not?
not that good. No.
So
It's
spoiler
there-
alert.
It's no different than fucking plug. It's a lot better being plugged in. So much better.
Spoiler alert, here's what I do if I have issues is I run Eero's mesh Wi-Fi, and what I basically do is just plug into the back of one of my mesh nodes, because then it basically mitigates most of that. It's still technically a Wi-Fi connection, but it's hardwired into that connection. So
Yeah, that makes sense. I've heard of that. It does seem, as long as it's wired, like, so the overall signal from the console to the thing isn't
but one thing also to keep
over
in mind
air.
is I don't play a lot of online games. If you go and look at the games I've been playing as of late, it's been Pokemon, it's been Cyberpunk, it's been. Why are you giving me that?
Oh, I
about
can't wait
Cyberpunk?
to. No, the one before that. I can't wait to hear about what you have to say about that. Oh,
I don't.
God, 'cause
Okay, so
I've
spoiler
seen
alert.
some stuff.
I don't know enough yet. I've only played like for 20 minutes.
I've seen some things that look.
My
ooh.
wife's already like level 40 in the game. But she's put a crap load of time. But yes, there
How
are,
do they make it look worse than Sword and Shield?
there are issues. I don't think, based off what I've seen, because I can't form a full opinion, I enjoyed Pokemon Legends Arceus a lot, and it seems like the stuff I liked in Arceus they did not put in this game, which is kind of
All right.
disappointing.
And for what I'm into, I'm just gonna say this right here. Fuck Pokemon. Go look at a trailer for a game called Power World that looks so much fucking better.
Or Temtem.
Well, I mean, no. That is like a direct competitor for Pokemon. Power World is not a direct competitor. It has like, I'm not gonna spoil anything. Go look up the trailer and be like, "What the fuck is this? This looks awesome." Just go ahead. It's not a direct competitor to Pokemon like what'd you call it, Temtem?
Temtem.
Tim Tom. What?
Tim?
I think it's Temtem.
Oh, Tim.
Tem.
Oh, that's right,
Temtem.
Tim. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, I remember. That's clicking out. I have heard of that, and yeah, so that's probably the best thing Nintendo could do is pull Pokemon from Game Freak. Pull it, take it from them. They can't. They don't need it. They've been fucking up for a long time. Go look up Power World. It looks fucking nuts and crazy and better.
I don't think they're ever going to lose it. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, I know, but that would be the smart thing. I'm sure if you want to run your fucking games into the ground so no one will fucking buy it, go for it. Although, no, there's always going to be people buying it because people are stupid as fuck. Oh, I'm looking down at you now. You can say something now. I'm looking at you and your wife. I'm judging you both. I'm judging you both.
Okay, whatever. I don't care.
That's fair. I'm just for comedic effect. I don't really care. I don't
That's
hate
the
you.
wife you're gonna hit you in your Pokeballs, Willie. You better be careful.
I don't discriminate. What do you think? Just because she's a female and Chris's wife, I'm going to not say nothing? No, that's more sexist.
Okay, then. What else should we
But,
get into, Willie?
Saw those movies, and got a war. Internet was out. Took days. No one could, and the whole time was saying going to be fixed within 24 hours. It took it took way more than that. And actually, I did that. I'm not sure if I sent it to you guys. I also got a notification saying your internet will be fixed within 156 to 157 hours.
Oh boy!
I sent that to you guys.
No.
Yikes.
Yeah, I was like, that's 6.5 fucking days. What the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, it's annoying.
That's insane.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go. Just send that in the chat. So yeah. Other than that, it kind of worked out because I was pet sitting for my mom, so it kind of worked out all right. It went out. My internet went out Wednesday. They left Thursday, and so I just kind of stayed over the last 2 nights and just came back home when it was fixed yesterday, apparently. So yay!
Yeah,
I'm back home. Finally fucking working without. I just wish they would be more transparent with how they, how is this broken? What's wrong with it? What's going on? Okay, be more transparent. Fiber optic issue. We don't know what to tell you.
If you called them, you might have been able to get that specificity out of them, but online they'll probably not give you that.
I did call someone.
Oh, did
they
you?
couldn't tell me shit either.
Did you cuss them out?
Oh no, no.
Okay, good.
No. I was nice. I said, I hope you have a great day and everything.
That's
Not in a sarcastic way. Like like I'm always respectful, and people online, people on the phone. Like if I'm having to call someone, I'm always super respectful to them. It's not their fault. They're not the ones who cut my internet off. They didn't do shit. It's some fucking actual nature thing. I don't know what the fuck happened, but it's not their fault. I'm not gonna yell at them. I say, hey, I hope you have a good day. Hey, stay warm. It's getting cold outside.
Good.
Stuff like that. Other than that, I'll probably think of something else, but I can't think of anything. So next.
All right, I will go next. My list is relatively short, but I did finish season 5 of Big Mouth this week. It was hilarious. It continues to be raunchy, ridiculous, dumb, and just straight up hilarious. If you've enjoyed the earlier seasons, go check this one out. You'll probably like it as well. And you don't have to watch the spin-off they did. What was it, like Human Relations or something like that, or Human Resources? It was all about like the hormone monsters and all the other monsters they've introduced. And they actually have a gag, like in the very opening episode. You find out that Maury, the hormone monster, is pregnant. And you're like, what the fuck? How did this happen? Like, you don't have to know this unless you watched our spin-off. And then they rip on the fact that they have a spin-off where that happened in.
I do have a question because I haven't watched any of it.
Yes.
I know there's hormone monsters. You said they introduced other monsters. What are the type of
There's
monsters
the love bugs. There's the shame wizard. There's
it's a shame boner.
there's all sorts of different things they have created that they've added in. The shame wizard's hilarious.
Anticiparection.
Yeah.
Is that something they actually said?
I believe so.
All right, I wasn't sure. I haven't watched it in a while, so I was just kind of curious. Oh, now you peep my just other monsters? Ooh.
Yes, there's a variety, and then they did a spin-off cartoon that's all about those monsters and the human and the resources that go into basically doing all of these things. It's hilarious. I really like it a lot. The voice talent is great on it. Go watch if you don't mind raunchy, funny comedy. This is the way to do it. Willie, what were you about to say?
Oh, I just remembered something.
Oh, I'm scared now. Other stuff. Go ahead.
I'll do it at the very end.
Okay, other stuff I've been getting into. I wrapped up my playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077 until the DLC comes out. I have basically knocked out all of the side quests except for buying all the vehicles, and there was something else I'd forgotten to do, but it took me 58 hours to do all of that. So I'm looking forward to the DLC when it drops. I think early 2023 is what the rumor had been. It will be paid DLC, which I'm fine with because it's going to be expansion stuff, not like new missions and stuff added into the game. I can say this, after having played Cyberpunk 2077 at launch and then basically let it sit until the most recent update came out, there is a boatload of quality of life updates and things like that went into this game. It's very well done. I also enjoyed the fact that there's a connection to the Cyberpunk Edgerunners anime in there, where you can actually find out a bit of the story about David Martinez, and in the end, get his jacket as equipable gear if you want, that the guy wears throughout the series, which is, his jacket's fairly unique in the Cyberpunk anime, so it's kind of cool that you can get it in the game if you want as well.
Oh, that's right, the anime.
Nice.
I haven't watched the anime
Yeah.
yet. Edgerunners, right?
Yeah, Edgerunners.
And there another one coming out too?
I
Arc Runners
don't
or
think so,
something? It's
but
it's
don't
something
quote
else
me on
with
that.
runners, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember.
So finish that up, and then since I beat that yesterday, before the show today, I started playing Pokemon Scarlet. I am only like 20-25 minutes into it, so I can't really form much in the way of opinions about what's going on with that game. I've done one Pokemon battle, and I've caught one Pokemon. And from what I have read, they handhold you for quite a while on introduction to the game mechanics. And I'm not
2 hours from what I read.
Yeah, I'm not super
Nice.
pleased with that because I've played many of Pokemon games. I don't necessarily need that help, and it's not skippable from what I've realized.
That's
But
all right.
who
Did they
knows?
fix that issue in Sword and Shield where it was like
I don't
kind
know.
of quicker?
I don't
I
know.
thought there was like a big thing people were talking about. Like, yeah, you know what, where you can get into it. The things
thi-
I've been seeing are the frame rates.
Yeah, there's a lot of frame rate and graphic issues that I've seen reported. What I'm bummed about is what I liked in Pokemon Legends Arceus is they changed the catch mechanic. You don't have to fight everything to catch it. You could sneak up on things and throw Pokeballs at it and catch them. I don't think that made it into this version of Pokemon, which is kind of a bummer. But people have been reporting that the open world is bigger, more lived in, for lack of a better term. You can optionally fight trainers. You don't have to fight everyone you happen upon like happened in the past with stuff. I'm curious. My wife has enjoyed the game. She's got up to level 40, I think, in the past 3 days or so. So she'll probably beat it the next couple days. Like I said, I don't know enough to form an opinion. I did buy it digitally because that was just the simplest way to do it, because then I could just go start playing whenever I wanted. Let's see. Other things I've been getting into. We talked about on this show before, weird stuff going on with Twitter. So I also created an account on Mastodon. I've been exploring that a little bit. It's all different, all getting used to things. And then last night I did also watch the AEW pay-per-view for the quarter. That was AEW Full Gear. It was 5 hours of really fun professional wrestling. I had a boatload of fun with it. And we have a new champion. Congratulations to Maxwell Jacob Friedman, officially the youngest champion, AEW champion, to have been out there. MJF.
All right. He's better than John Moxley, and you know it?
He's better than all of us, and we know it, because he's MJF.
Yeah, he sure seems to think that.
He is the champion. That's generally an indicator of being the best.
Depends. How'd he get the championship?
He pinned John Moxley.
He sent a team of people to win a ladder match and then walked up a ladder and grabbed a chip.
And then he pinned John Moxley after he punched him in the face with brass knuckles.
Okay, fair enough.
That William Regal gave him.
That part is awesome. Yeah, it's like, oh, you're going to turn heel? All right, let's turn heel.
Yeah. Be paired with William Regal. That'll be fun. Just think, MJF's gotten to work with Tully Blanchard and William Regal now as established older stars of the previous generations. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's worked with some high talent. I still love the fact that, like, you can go back and see the video of him as security at WWF and, like, Samoa Joe, like, smashing him into a wall.
Right.
As, like, little kid MJF, it's like, oh, at, like, 19 years old, like, this was what he wanted to do. He was in there playing security so that he could be the guy. Where you got, like, John Moxley, what was it, two weekends ago, a month ago, they were doing the show at the Cincinnati Arena where he used to work security for events.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, these guys have been wanting to do this shit for a long time, and it's awesome to see them get to that top level. And yeah, MJF on the mic is fantastic. That kid is freaking super talented. So I'm interested to see what they do with him. Yeah, he's a fun watch.
I think so too.
I need to get caught up again, yeah, because honestly, I'm most intrigued by the Danhausen shit. I want to see that more than anything.
And the Danhausen stuff was on the YouTube pre-show, so you don't have to buy the pay-per-view to watch
nice, nice. Okay.
So yeah, that's what I've been getting into. Nothing too crazy. Bachman, why don't you wrap things up for us? What have you been getting into?
Playing a bunch of Snap, staying up on my dailies. I think I'm halfway through the season pass almost, so enjoying the heck out of that game. We watched the new Disenchanted movie came out on Disney Plus, and so I remember watching Enchanted like when it came out 15 years ago. I was like, it's sing-songy Disney, not really exactly my favorite type of movie, but I remember watching it. It's like, I vaguely remember. It's like, well, to hell with it. We'll watch one and then we'll watch the other one. So we literally watched Enchanted, and then we went and got all of our groceries for Thursday, and then we came home, sat back down for some Legos, and watched Disenchanted. Both really fun, family-friendly films, nice and easy, and nothing you're going to, rack your brain over, but enjoyable. Yeah, good songs, just, heartwarming stuff. Maya Rudolph is like the evil queen in the second one is fantastic because it's fucking Maya Rudolph. Like, she's always amazing. Second one was really good. Yeah, enjoyed it. And then, it was just, a fun thing to watch, and they let Patrick Dempsey have a lot more to do in the second one than just being like the New York lawyer he was in the first movie. So he gets to have some really, like, what looks like some really fun scenes. Like, there's a point where he fights a dragon, and like the guy's a lawyer. So, it's interesting. But yeah, they had some fun with that. And then built some Legos while I was doing that. So I put together I'd bought a Monkey Kid little minifigure set that had some special figures at the Disney store, the Lego store in Disneyland in Anaheim. And then a Monkey Kid multiple motorcycle set. So it's like his spider enemy, and it comes with the spider and the Spider Dude's motorcycle. And then Monkey Kid has his hover bike motorcycle, which is cool. And then I built those two sets, and then the Mandalorian Fight for the Throne set. So Darth Maul and adult Ahsoka. And so nice little tiny kit. Finished building the three of those. And then, like Willie, unfortunately, our internet went out last night. And so while we were an hour into Disenchanted, all of a sudden Disney Plus starts spinning. Then an error message comes up, and I reset the Roku, and then it says it can't reconnect. And I'm like, what? And I test the signal, and it says, oh, you don't have internet. was like,
Oh, fun.
fuck you mean I know I'm in? So yeah, ended up just pulled the plug on the modem, let it go for an hour, and like I was very, very not happy. And Chad was like, "Let's go pick a movie. You got like 700 movies in there. Let's watch something." I was like,
Also fair.
Yeah, not not she's not wrong." And so yeah, we came in here looking at stuff, and she's like, "Oh, what about this? What about that?" I'm like, all right. And then I was like, you know what? I haven't seen Pacific Rim in a while. She's like, what's that one? I'm like, giant robots punching giant monsters, and she hadn't seen it. And so we got to watch Pacific Rim last night. So yeah, popped that up on the big screen, watched that while I finished making my Lego set, and then we ended up finishing Disenchanted once it was done. But yeah, really enjoyable. Just even after all these years, yeah, the Guillermo del Toro giant robots, giant monsters movie, you can't go wrong with it. It's just so much fun. And Charlie Day's silly ass character and Ron Perlman being awesome. Other than that, I got a new book to go through. I actually was able to catch it on, it was half off. I found it on Amazon. Speaking of the good stuff in The Walking Dead, Charlie Adler did a little tiny sketchbook, so it's not huge. But yeah, for those that don't know, this is the guy that has drawn The Walking Dead since issue 6, all the way through whatever it was, 180, whatever, when they finished. And so, yeah, this sketchbook is awesome. And it's got a bunch of notes in it, too, which I love. He did a bunch of write-ups on just, things he was working on and his thoughts on process on things. And so you can see, a sketch cover and his thought process on it, and then, the end result. And so, yeah, enjoying going through this. And, yeah, looking forward to actually having Thursday off from work, getting to watch some football on Turkey Day. And we got all of our food already here and ready. So the fiance is going to do the prep work on Wednesday. And then Thursday, all we got to do is get up and crawl into my chair. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, that will be nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm jealous.
That's what I've been getting into.
I'm jealous. Yeah, we do have Turkey Week coming up. So for folks that are celebrating that, not everyone does, obviously. I hope you all have fun, safe travels. And it's a big travel day on Thanksgiving Day. My wife and I will be traveling up to visit my parents. So hopefully the Waze app is working properly so I don't get stuck in a speed trap, because I'm sure that I possibly could. But we're going to put the turkey on the grill up there. It should be delicious.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to work on Wednesday.
Yeah, I've got Wednesday. I took Wednesday off because I had leave to burn, so I only have to work 2 days this week. So
Nice.
Monday and Tuesday are going to feel like they're crawling just because those are the only 2 days I work this week, and I'm not looking forward to that part of it, but whatever.
Yeah, the one upside is, instead of getting paid double time and a half, I get Thursday off, so I get paid for the full work day as if I worked it with Alaska. And then Friday I'm working, but I'm comping my extra time, so I get paid for the full day, and then I get a day of vacation time for having worked Friday.
Nice.
So I was like, all right, I can deal with that. It's not bad. And yeah, we just got my paycheck from working Veterans Day, which was nice because double time and a half working on a holiday still, so like 36 some odd dollars an hour. That don't hurt the bank.
No.
That pays for your turkey and your rolls and your mashed potatoes, damn it.
That's true.
And my peppermint coffee mate, because tis the season.
'Tis the season indeed. On that note, though, we are going to start wrapping things up. Willie is back just in perfect time for us to start wrapping things up. Willie, you have any final thoughts for folks before I do the outro stuff and reminders?
Insert explicitive response to Bethesda.
That's fair. So, friendly reminder as we start shutting things down. We
Throw
do
some cunts or something in there. I don't know.
We do stream this show live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at www.geeks.live. That is the streaming home of the Gonna Geek Network. If you want to find out more about the show, go to GonnaGeek.com. You can find us, all of the rest of the shows on the network there. Please go check out some of the other fine content we have for you. You can also get a hold of us by going to the official Gonna Geek Discord at GonnaGeek.com/Discord. There is a channel for our podcast in there, and in addition to a variety of other channels for geeky and nerdy topics and other podcasts of the network. The Gonna Geek Discord's a pretty fun, safe place to go and talk geek with everyone. It's a lot of fun. Come join us. Join us.
One of us. One of us.
On that note, we are going to start shutting things down. A big thank you to everyone who did join us live in the chat room. We really do appreciate it. And anyone who catches us after the fact, we appreciate you guys as well. Thank you so much, everyone. And I guess it's time for us to hit the button and wrap things up so that we can see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at gonnageek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com.